Allie. Good to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Hi, thank you, Petey. Thank you so much for having me.
We have some movies to talk about.
We do.
And, it's interesting because, one is a horror movie and one is not a horror movie. One is a romantic comedy. And it's all storytelling at the end of the day. But does the mindset change a little bit genre wise, or do you kind of go in with the same preparation a little bit?
Oh, I would say the mindset, my mindset's always the same in that I
Yeah.
like to come in over prepared and, um, I like to do the prep work leading up to the projects if you're fortunate enough to have time to prep, which luckily with both All My Friends Are Dead as well as Find Me Falling, I had 3 to 4 weeks, give or take, to prep. But in
Mhm.
terms of being on set and actually what your mindset is on set, completely different.
Yeah.
Horror versus rom-com, it's kind of a completely different part of your creative brain, I feel like, to get into the mindset for those two genres.
100%. And, with Find Me Falling, it's interesting because, this movie is just so beautiful the way it's shot and everything. And
Thank you.
I'm just curious because it's like, what is that kind of journey like for you reading the script for this and then going and filming it? Like, what is that kind of script to screen journey like for you for that film specifically?
Well, first off, Stellana Claris, our writer director, she's from Cyprus. She's a Cypriot local, and I really feel like when I read the script, she did such a great job at painting a picture of what Cyprus is. And I
Hmm.
had never even, embarrassingly so, I'd never even heard of Cyprus, or I had heard of it, but I didn't really know where in the world it was.
Yeah.
Um, to this day, my American friends and family still think it's Greece, and I'm like, it's not Greece, it's different.
Hmm.
But her script, I think, did a great job for us as actors leading up to being in Cyprus at sort of depicting how beautiful it was. And then, of course, when we got there and seeing it in person,
Hmm.
it was just breathtaking, and it helps you get into character when you're not having to act like it's beautiful and the best place in the world. You're actually in this gorgeous country with warm, amazing people who are so supportive on and off the camera.
Hmm.
So I would say, yeah, they both are so special. The script depiction and then also just like being able to film on location is so cool.
And it's how do you balance all those elements like once you go to camera? Because there's obviously like this the amazing story and the self-reflection component, which is something I really got from this movie, the self-reflection that, you were able to speak to people at a really, like bad time of your life and everything. So I'm just wondering like how do you balance all those elements when you go to camera? Because it's just like an like there it's such a overload, right? Of like thoughts and emotions if you think about it, right?
Definitely. I think, well, my character Melina is not too far away from me as myself as Allie. So I think I feel like with every film and with every character I play, there's a part of truth of Allie that comes out in them. And I would say in terms of, how do you balance all those elements and emotions plus, for Cyprus, the biggest challenge was the heat.
Yeah.
It was 90 plus degrees every day and humid. So, when you're trying to film a rom-com, that can be challenging when everyone's just dying of sweat. But I would say having just a really good team around you. I mean, film is such a collaborative effort. And I think our director, our cinematographer, Harry Connick Jr., Agni Scott, like everyone was just such a collaborator and such a supportive energy on set. So I really, really feel like that is what created our successful on-screen chemistry that
Mhm.
hopefully the audience sees.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to check that one out on Netflix. Now we're gonna kind of shift gears a little bit to All My Friends Are Dead. I remember when this movie was announced. I remember seeing that like I'm a big horror movie guy. I love horror
Oh, heck
movies.
yeah.
So
Good.
I remember when it was announced. And then I was like, yes, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? So it's like so crazy. I mean, they've always been around, whether you like them, whether people are able to watch them or not. Horror movies have always been around.
Mhm.
They're one of the most popular genres out there right now. People love them. People love making them. What is it like working on a horror movie at a time where there is such a big appetite for them specifically?
Yeah, definitely. I actually I never really was, as a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch horror films. My mom took ratings of movies very literally, PG-13. You're not 13, you're not watching it. Rated R, you're not 17, you're not watching it. So I used to sneak. I think the first horror movie I ever watched was The Ring.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my first too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Naomi Watts, she was incredible in that. And I feel like that movie kind of scarred me because my mom was correct in not letting me watch it. So after I watched Snuck That, I think at age 11,
Mhm.
it scarred me from watching horror films because I was so terrified.
Oh my goodness. I just spoke to Martin Henderson recently for Virgin River because he's in The Ring. And he was like, yeah, I know. It's so crazy. Yeah, and he was like, I never really thought of it as like a horror movie when I was watching. I thought of it as like a supernatural thrill. I'm like, what are you like? It was so funny in the interview, Ali. I was like, that's one of the scariest things. Like,
Yeah, you're
something
like,
comes
it's
out of a
actually a
TV.
traumatizing pop cultural film that no one can ever look at their TVs the same.
Yeah.
But anyways, because of that,
Yeah.
I was always freaked out to watch horror. And then as I got into the film world, I auditioned for horror all the time. I feel like every week a horror script is coming in, and it's like you said, I mean, it's the hot genre right now. And I was like, you know what? I actually think this would be so much fun because it almost demystifies my, paranoia of watching the movie, having been on set and doing it.
Mhm.
Um, and it's also this particular film, what I loved about the script, it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
campy, it's funny, and yes, it's super gory and
Ye-
has a lot of jump scares. Um,
yeah.
but it's at its heart and core, it's like an ensemble piece comedy to me. I don't know. I really loved the fact that it wasn't so serious. Like everything in this scary movie has to be scary, you
Your
know?
character is ready to party, ready to go. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Liv is crazy. Liv is desperate for attention and will do anything to get it.
And it's interesting too because, when you read it, I think it's a bit different because when you're reading this script, there's a good chance that you know what you're getting yourself into a little bit because it is a horror movie, let's say, like when you first read it. But it's
Mhm.
like, when do you start realizing those kind of like campy fun turns and gore? Like, is it like we're in the middle? Because like I love that you said that, right? Where it's something that it's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but like I got that like maybe middle. Like, I don't know. I got that like from the because in the beginning of the movie, I'm like dialed in. I'm like, they might all die. I don't know, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like, but the title is All My Friends Are Dead, so someone's gotta die. Like, what's going on? Yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't want to give too much away.
Because it's so cool reading something and then like filming it. Because I feel like
Yeah.
the script to screen is like the coolest thing, Ali, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. And also, so much of script to screen magic is the chemistry you have with your fellow castmates.
Yep.
And something that I'm really grateful and excited for audiences to see with this one, is the chemistry and the ensemble aspect of this cast. Everyone kills it in their part, and everyone is so unique and specifically different and represents many different aspects of human comedy and tragedy. And I feel like, and human flaws.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that my cast and I got along so well from day one
Mhm.
is pretty incredible. I mean, we shot this whole film in 16 days. So like that's with like a couple days of reshoots. So that's pretty like crazy and pretty quick.
And
And
a
so
lot of
we
the movie is like in this air, like this like Airbnb where it's like everyone's like in one location. So it's like
yeah.
you're like I feel like it must have been felt like you were like a family with everyone. You know what I mean?
I hope that when people watch this, they're like, "Oh, this actually seems really fun," and seemed like it was really fun to make because it kind of feels like when I think back to that time in my life, it kind of felt like going to summer camp. Granted, it was
Mm.
work and it definitely took its long days, as you know, on set, but because we all really got along so well, it was so much fun to make, and so much of the great moments on screen weren't even the scripted moments. It was just like us being true to our characters and being able to ad lib and play around with each other
Mhm.
in those big group scenes, which I think just makes the movie that much more special.
Absolutely. And we, of course, talked about Find Me Falling and All My Friends Are Dead. And now, like, kind of last question, kind of bring them both in together. I mean, so much happens before we go to camera on a project, Ali, right? Like, there's like all the discussions, talking to the directors, table reads, and all that. So, in a
Mhm.
lot of ways, from an acting storyteller perspective, maybe it could feel like two separate journeys, right? Before filming something and then after filming something. For you, did it feel kind of like one big journey with multiple steps with these two projects, or did it feel like two separate journeys before filming and after filming?
You know, ooh, I think both of them, it felt like, well, let me ask you this. Do you mean from reading the script to meeting with everyone via Zoom to like the first day on set and being on set? Or do you mean like doing the projects and now to seeing them come out?
Well, I
'Cause
mean, it's interesting because you just bring it up, and that does literally feel like five journeys. So it's like
it,
maybe it does.
well, I'll say this, the journey of knowing you're going to do something, starting the prep work, meeting all the people involved, the director, and in both cases, Stellana Claris for Find Me Falling and Marcus Dunstan for All My Friends Are Dead, both such generous directors and writers. And so I would say because of that and because of the environment they set of it's a collaborative effort, I want your opinion on who you think your character is. It kind of made it just feel like one seamless journey from start to finish with the filming process. Now having seen them come out, that feels like a whole nother journey in itself. And honestly, one that I feel like you don't always get to reap the benefits of seeing your projects come out and get, a theatrical release or a Netflix, purchase. So I just feel like that in itself is a really cool reward.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm just really so happy and so excited for everyone involved in both films.
Absolutely, I'm very happy for you. You're so good in these films. Two such different characters too. So I can't wait for people to check it out. They could do the Ali double feature eventually. Well, by the time these are out, you know what I mean?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be, oh my gosh, I hope people don't think I'm like crazy when they see me go from rom-com to horror, but that's the fun of being an actor. It's great to
Yeah.
do the same genre, but I feel so lucky that I got to do these two and that they're coming out back to back. I'm really, really excited.
Absolutely. Alex, so great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Petey. It was so lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.
Of course. And you have an Instagram account where people keep up date with everything, right?
Yes, it is my name, Ali, Ali, Fumiko Whitney. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. I'll be posting all cool behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Alternative, youtube.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. Ali Fumiko Whitney has Find Me Falling coming to Netflix, and then All My Friends Are Dead, the horror film, which is going to be available as well. This has been Pop Alternative. Until next time, this is Ali and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.